Hi Dennis Bulldogs, it's Mrs. Johnson, your school counselor, and we are going to continue to talk about the 7 habits of highly effective teens. And as I mentioned in my last video, we're going to talk about what is called a paradigm. And so a paradigm can be interchanged with the word perception. And we're going to focus a little bit longer than I expected on paradigms because the more I read in the books, the more I felt like it was important that we talk about this a little bit longer. So you can have a paradigm about yourself, about other people, or about the world around you. And I think it's important to break that down in those 3 categories. So today we're going to talk about the paradigm or perception you have of yourself. And this paradigm I think is especially important because we can have negative and positive perceptions of ourselves, which can help or hurt us. And that's what we're going to think about today. And I know that seems like a little redundant because yesterday we talked about habits, but they're different because it's a belief or a view that you have about yourself. And we all have positive and negative views, and a lot of them have changed. I know over the years they've definitely changed for me as I've experienced more things and have had to challenge even my negative points of view or my paradigm. So I will be looking a little bit off to the side. I have the workbook open and I also have the regular book open, and I hope you don't mind that I'll be reading a little bit out of each because I want you to get that information that I think is really awesome that they've provided for us. So their definition of a paradigm, it just says a paradigm is the way you see something. It's your point of view, your frame of reference, or belief. So a paradigm of self is how you see yourself, connected with self-esteem as well. So what are some thoughts we have about ourselves? And I want to read this really great excerpt out of the actual book. And I'm just going to show you the little fun image. They have a lot of really cool drawings throughout this book. So this says, paradigms are like glasses. When you have incomplete paradigms about yourself or life in general, it's like wearing glasses with the wrong prescription. That lens affects how you see everything else. As a result, what you see is what you get. I'm going to say that again. As a result, what you see is what you get. So if you believe you're dumb, that very belief will make you dumb. If you believe your sister is dumb, you'll look for evidence to support your belief, find it, and she'll remain dumb in your eyes. On the other hand, if you believe you're smart, that belief will cast a rosy hue on everything you do. So a lot of times our beliefs become reality. Not always, but I'll give you a quick example, a personal example for me. So I always felt like I was not good at math. I was never going to be good at math. And I made a stance in high school that I just decided I hated math. And so I didn't do very well in math. You know, I didn't even want to try and give myself the opportunity to fail. But then when I went to college, and first of all, I never thought I would go to college. I had that paradigm that I wasn't smart enough, but I did, and you are too. And as I went to college and I was getting more confidence, I ended up getting A's in math. And that's not to brag. That's just to say I believed in myself and people believed in me enough that I was able to succeed. And so I really believe that is an important thing about paradigms, that we really need to challenge what we believe about ourselves, because a lot of times we don't see all the good that's inside of us that other people can see. So here are a few questions, and as normal, I'll link them down in the information box so that you can look at them later. Or I would love if you're keeping a journal. And like I mentioned, if you want to message me on Canvas and let me know, regardless of when you're watching this. So if you're going to watch this on April 1st, send me a message. If you're watching this a month from now, in the summer, in next school year, I don't care. I want to hear about it if you've gotten anything from these videos that I'm doing and from the books. So one of the questions that they have in the workbook is, what are some positive paradigms I have about myself? So maybe yours is I think I'm funny, or I think I'm smart, or I'm really resourceful. Like I can find resources easily, or I'm really good at drawing. Whatever that is. What's a positive paradigm about yourself? And then you're going to think about what are some negative paradigms I have about myself. So what are some of those things that I tell myself, and maybe you don't even realize you do it, but are you telling yourself that you're not ever going to be good at English, or you're never going to be able to read well, or math isn't your thing? And so then another question that it has on here is that what are some paradigms that my parents or guardians, or, people like your teachers or people that you see at school, like your school counselor or principals or paraprofessionals, anyone that you encounter at school, might have about me. So as I mentioned, sometimes people see the good in us before we see it. And so what are some of those things? I mean, feel free to reach out to anybody that you're close with and ask them, what are some beliefs or things that you see in me? Some positive things that you see in me. And so when fun activity that you could do, so if you decide to talk to someone about that, you can ask them, positive or negative. I would lean towards more positive things as we're working through this material. And so see if they're true. See if they match. Do they match what you believe about yourself? Do you feel like, you're smart, or do you feel like you're really funny, and do they feel like you're really funny? See if those things match up. And maybe a negative, maybe you feel like you have a bad attitude all the time. And unfortunately they say, yeah, I think you do too. That just gives you something to work on. That doesn't mean it's a failure. It's just something to work on, and every single one of us have something to work on. I promise. It doesn't matter if you are 5 years old or if you're 100 years old. So I will list those questions below and maybe a couple extra things just to get you thinking. But I want to start there, and we'll continue on and look at our beliefs about other people and our beliefs about the world. And then we'll do some work on how to challenge those so that we can change for the better and start to work towards those 7 habits of highly effective teens that we're going to dive into in the coming weeks. So I'm sending you all my love. I miss you. I hope to see you soon, and I hope you're staying safe and doing well. I'll see you later.